Ever looked at other web templates online and ask yourself, how the heck am I going to do this? You are lost and you do not know where to start replicating the website. But once you understand the first principles of websites, how templates are structured, how to reverse engineer the website, you will have the freedom to replicate whatever websites of your choice. So I will show you how you can do so in this video, so let's go. Before you even start styling your website, you will first need to understand how the common stylings work. You will need to understand how display works, how grid works, how flexbox works, how positioning works, how z-index works, how box models works, and how paddings and margins works. This is so that you will have an idea on how each of these styling will look like. Then when you look at a template, you will then know, oh, this style looks like display flex, or this style looks like display grid, etc. For example, if you see a template that have elements that are laid in a row or column, you will then understand, oh, this is display flex. But if you see an element that is laid in a row and column, you will then know, oh, this is display grid. Or if you see an element that is laid in stack on top of one another, you will then know, oh, this is z-index. Therefore, you have the foundations to reverse engineer the templates later on. What I recommend you is to take out a notebook, draw the elements yourself, then beside it just label display flex or whatever the styling is used. This is a pretty simple step. Just search on Google or YouTube design templates, or look at websites of popular companies and businesses. It doesn't really matter on which website you are using, because it's just for practice. At least you have an understanding, or at least you have a chance to practice all kinds of web designs out there. Once you have a template, it's time to study them. First, you need to understand the first principles of websites. All websites are basically things contained in an invisible box. They follow this rule called a box model. With the box model, you can adjust the padding and the margins. But right now, you can see the border, so I will add this style to display it. Now you can see it clearly. You can see the padding and you can see the margin. If you adjust the padding, the space in between the border and the elements itself will change. And if you adjust the margin, the space between the border and the other elements will change. So to study them, it is good to break it down into its foundations and then remove the details like the image or the text. What you can do is think in terms of sections, groups, and individual elements. Now I will show you an example with Apple's website. First, the section. It has one box on its own. Next, the section can be broken down into halves. The top half is the text and the bottom half is the image. Next, the top half can be broken down into lines of boxes. The headline have a box, the subheadlines have a box, the city have a box, bottom colorful text have a box. After breaking down the website into boxes, remove any details like the words and images, leaving you with just boxes. Then you will realize, wow, it looks very familiar. It looks very close to the foundations that you learned just now. Other than breaking down the website on your own, you can see the source code of the website and how the elements are laid. You can do so by clicking function F12, then click the element selector, then hover around, then you will see the boxes. Now, it's time to extract the juices of the template and use it on your own website. To extract them, always ask yourself how the elements are laid. Remember the foundations that you learned just now. Mix and match and see how is the layout possibly be done. Which styling methods did you use? First, zoom out. How is the overall website laid? How much padding did you use? What is the positioning? What display did they use for the sections? Or is there any corner radius? Then dive deeper. Go to one section, ask yourself the same few questions, mix and match again. Then go even deeper. Go to each component, ask yourself the same few questions again, mix and match with the foundations that you learned just now. So yeah, this is how you can steal other websites, and it is just an opinion. Bye.